Welcome to the City Current Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference and powering the good. And in this case, we're honored to have our City Current partners with Executive Speakers Bureau, the dynamic duo, Richard and Angela Schelp, co-founders of Executive Speakers Bureau. They book me, they book all of our speakers. They do so much more, but we're going to talk about events, speakers, inspiration. How are you two doing?
We are doing awesome. Thank you for the introduction. High energy. I love it.
I love that. Thank you, Jeremy. It's great.
Well, you know, that is part of the deal when you talk about speakers and inspiration and events. And so energy is a big piece of that. But let's start out with some context. Executive Speakers Bureau, as I mentioned, you two, the co-founders, you have an amazing team that makes it very seamless and easy to pick the best speakers, work with the best speakers all the way through the event logistics. But give us a little background on Executive Speakers Bureau.
Sure. Okay. So Executive Speakers has been around a long time now. This is actually our 30th anniversary. So we're excited to be celebrating this year. But we started back in 1993 and with one speaker and hardly any clients, have grown it over the years to where we are now a global bureau with employees all over the place. I mean, we have employees everywhere now, including somebody in Canada. And we just work on events. We're the matchmakers, just like we do with City Current. So what we do is we're the matchmakers. So a client comes to us for looking for a speaker, and we make that happen with speakers that we have on our roster.
And to add to what Ange said, not only did we grow from one speaker, but now we are one of the 10 largest speakers bureaus in the United States.
Which is absolutely amazing when you look at how far you've come and yet, you know, how you're building for tomorrow. And so let's unpack your world, because you have exclusive speakers that you represent and they work only through you, but you are able to go out, just like you mentioned with the matchmaking side, to really get anyone and everyone. And even for someone, you know, as a group that says, hey, we would like this, you can go out and find the right speakers, the right topics, the right price point. So you really can go out of your way to make that match and that magic happen. So give a little bit of your world when you talk about exclusive speakers and just how you operate to ultimately bring all this together.
Jeremy, first of all, we have two sets of people that are on our website. So if you go on our website and you look at executivespeakers.com, there's going to be people that have a little exclusive banner on them and those that don't. Those that have the exclusive banner, we work on every speaking engagement that they have. They may bring those to us, or we may initiate that, or even another bureau may initiate it. All of that goes through our office. The other people who are on our website, we have direct relationships with, but they can just work on the things that we bring to them. The interesting thing about it is that we've got all those people on the website, but as you talked about, we are not even limited to the 3,000 people that are on our website. We work with every bureau and agency, and literally we can bring you any speaker that speaks, from the celebrities to political people to maybe just an author that just popped up as being recognizable. All those things are well within our reach.
Yeah, I constantly send you all emails saying, hey, here's a name. Can you explore them? And so you come back with all their information, their bio, headshot, speaker reel, so we can see them in action, their price. And so, you know, to your point, I love the fact that you do make all that easy. But as you mentioned, it's all the little details. And when you work on hosting events, it's all those little details that can either bog you down or make it a success. And so when you talk about flights, travel, transportation to and from, you know, city of destination and origin, like all these things, it's much more than just the price of the speaker. So talk about some of those nuances when you get into the details of working with the speakers, but working with the events. What are all those little things that you're starting to look at and make sure that, you know, all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed?
The way it works is you have sales. I mean, Richard and I are also in sales. Not only do we run the company, but we also sell, just as you know. So you'll have salespeople that'll come in and work with you to select the speaker. And then once that happens, we have dedicated event coordinators, and they take everything on the back end. So once it's sold, they'll step in and they do everything else. So they help with the flights, they help with the hotels, all of the marketing materials that will go out to the client to make sure they're all approved. They will help with any type of logistics, making sure that the speaker is on site when they're supposed to be, making sure they have their itinerary so they know from the time they arrive until they leave what their story is, who's going to be introducing them, how long they're on site, if they've got a meet and greet, if they've got a book signing. If there is a book signing, they'll help order books. So they literally do everything to help make sure when that speaker shows up, they are completely prepared for the event, including setting up a prep call, being on that prep call, and making sure they're ready. So once we book that speaker, that's kind of the beginning of it. And then they take it, run with it, and make sure it goes smoothly from there.
And they really feel like that they have been fully managed and fully supported throughout the process. The client almost just exhales when they go, oh my gosh, you guys have everything under control when it comes to the speaker. I don't have to worry about it. In fact, if there's something that needs to be done, you're going to tell me about it. And so that really makes a big difference.
It does.
Share some of the trends when you talk about hot topics, some of the things that are going on right now in the event industry that you have your, mind and focus on. What does that look like in your world?
What's really interesting about it is topics are an ever-changing thing. And you know it as an event planner that one year it's generations that people care about. The next year it's diversity, equity, and inclusion. It just shifts based on the news, based on what's happening, et cetera. And so right now, artificial intelligence is one of the most requested topics that's out there. Anything that's related to it. It may be AI within a particular industry. It may be AI in general, or AI with security. Now, what do we need to worry about to do a cybersecurity based on AI being part of the equation? That's one area that we see a lot. We're still seeing
a lot of it.
A ton of AI. Yeah. We're still seeing a bunch in workforce. Anything that's related to the workforce, still people are trying to navigate that right now. They're trying to figure out the combination of virtual and in-person employees. What's the best way to do it? How to get them to work together, how to get people who are remote feel a part of the team, all those kind of things. That's huge as far as people requested. Sustainability is now starting to bubble back around. And I think a lot of it has to do with everybody's talking about the climate changes that are going on.
Environment.
Yes. How is that going to impact? And so that's a huge one as well. And then I would say crisis management is still kind of in the mix right now because especially within industries like healthcare, because still hospitals and healthcare organizations are really struggling with how do we make all this work? And that comes down to managing the crisis at hand. So
and go right into that is change. I'm still getting a lot of requests on change, dealing with change, leading through change. How do we continue to motivate our employees through all the change that we've been through? Because we're seeing, some of our larger clients that are, they're having kind of an economic downturn. And so they are, again, navigating that change. How do they keep everybody motivated? And so I'm seeing a lot of that.
And what it all rolls back to when you think of all these items, whether it's AI, workforce, sustainability, change, crisis management, leadership, and the connection from leadership to all these things seems to be important as well.
Yes.
I know you all run into it every day. I see it on my end too with individuals who want to be speakers. And so when you talk about all of these things and topics, someone says, hey, that's my specialization. I'd love to speak on that. Give us some tips for those who are not, on the professional circuit yet, but who see themselves, going in that direction. What are some tips for individuals to start going down that path to prepare them to be professional speakers?
I would say, anything that they can do as far as honing their speaking skills, getting in front of audiences, speaking as much as they possibly can, working on kind of crafting their true topics that they want to focus on, making sure that they have good content, getting feedback from other people, other speakers. I mean, it's great for somebody to come to you for feedback, but just getting as much feedback, honing those skills, and, just kind of working through to make sure they have what it takes before they approach somebody like us.
And really developing those materials.
Yeah.
Having a really nice, clean website that people are attracted to, getting people to go to your website, use search engine optimization to get there, having great PDFs, videos, et cetera, that you can share with clients.
Right.
All those things are very important before you come to us.
Because once they come to us, the first thing that we're going to look at when a speaker comes to us is their materials, their website. We're going to go to the website. We're going to look at their video clips. And we get, I don't know, probably 25 a day, maybe, of people that want to be a speaker.
It's up to almost 2,000 a year that we get.
That,
Yes.
because everybody in our company is getting those every day. And so there's times that we just can't even look. Well, there's so many, you can't look at it. So if something is coming into us, immediately I need to see the link to the video. I need to see the link to the website. I need to see what their fees are and their topics. And if that's all there, immediately I'll look at it. And if it catches my eye, I'll continue on. If it's not there, if it's just an email, hey, I want to be a speaker, it's gone. It'll get deleted. So they need to include everything possible at the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely. And to anticipate what could be a follow-on question from you, Jeremy, based on this, is that they have to be very careful, because we will not look at everybody's stuff that comes in, no matter how much we would want to. So it's very important that they're careful about their entree to us and really do a nice job of presenting the information when they send it to us.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think you're touching on, to me, all the important ingredients is the website, social media presence, putting your topics and really crafting the synopsis and all the different, audiences that are really applicable, and treating it as a business, as a profession. And if you're going to treat it as a professional, you have to be serious and professional with how you go about it and putting your best foot forward. And just like anything, it's all relationships. And just like you're talking about, life, business, it's all about relationships. And so working through those who are trusted, advisors, trusted partners with you all, and working through those, just like you would for any, actor, musician, whatever it is, it's all part of being a professional. So switch over for event organizers. Give us some tips that you would love for them to kind of know in terms of being more successful with interacting with Executive Speakers Bureau, looking at guest speakers. What are some things that you want to throw out to them to just be more intentional and strategic with their efforts?
I love the question, because event organizers can very much help the success of the speakers that they get based on how they approach us. I think, first of all, what's extremely important as an event organizer is that you know clearly what you want in a speaker for your event, and that you can articulate that to somebody asking questions about it. So important to be able to say, I want somebody who's an expert on artificial intelligence, who has a background in this area, and who can deliver this type of presentation. And this is how much money I have. Right. Those kind of things, spell it out really nice and neat, and that really helps us. That's the first piece, I think.
I think so too. And I think a lot of times event planners will come to us and they really don't want to share their budget, but that's a big mistake, because, we may spend, 2 or 3 days putting together ideas, and then we send them over and they'll come back and say, oh, this is way over our budget, but they didn't give it to us. So if they help us in the first place and they give us those parameters, we can send the absolute best people we have that fit their needs.
Help us, help you.
Yeah,
exactly. Help me, help you. Exactly right.
Help me.
Well,
help
so
you.
What I love is that for City Current, our culture, the energy, the story, the audience. And so you constantly bring us amazing speaker suggestions that we might have not thought about. And it's because you know us so well. And so you know our budget, like all those nuances that in the end create a great relationship that ultimately yields successful event after successful event, because our audience, our budget, the culture and what we're trying to accomplish. And so back to your point about just open communication will create a lot of success with the events and the partnership and the relationship. So carry that into just final thoughts. When you talk about, your world of events and creating successful experiences, give us one more thing, and I'll leave it broad in terms of for speakers, for event coordinators, where you want to go with it, but just, one more bit of helpful advice, if you will, as we wrap up.
First of all, I think that if as you're planning a meeting now, I think really understand what the world's all about, what the needs are out there. Right now, people want to get back together a lot. They spent all that time not being in person. And so there's a big desire for that. But some events have less attendees than they used to. It is part of what's going on. So understand that environment. Also understand when you're planning a meeting that technology is now huge in a lot of these meetings. I mean, there's things like virtual reality, holograms, even things like being able to measure attendees based on a QR code as to what sessions they're going into and whether they show up at the cocktail reception or whatever, to figure out what you're doing. Utilize technology, because that's now a real part of our lives. Utilize artificial intelligence as your meeting planner and advance what you're doing. Don't just stick with what the story was 5 years ago, but plan your event based on the future and based on now. That would be my thoughts.
In mine, I would say communications. I think that so many people these days have gotten away. They're using email or text, and they're not having conversations. And I think like you were talking about, us really knowing you, if we can have deep conversations with our clients and our speakers and really get to know them, it helps us to not only bring in the best speakers, but with the clients, if we really understand, then we can relay that back to the speaker. So we're bringing you the best speakers because we know what you're looking for. And then we can help the speaker truly understand too what the client's looking for. So it helps crafting that message. So I think building that, really digging deeper and spending time on the phone and conversation, and not just quick emails, texts. What are you looking for? This, and I think that helps. So if we can all step back and take that time, in the end, it will really make a difference.
Wrap up with contact information. So where do we go to check out all the speakers to connect in with Executive Speakers Bureau?
Yeah, it's executivespeakers.com. And our phone number is 901-754-9404. Always so happy to help and excited to connect with anyone out there.
And we've got people, as you said, all over the U.S. that are working for us now, and we love it. And they're there to take on any requests.
Well,
yes.
Angela and Richard Schelp, thank you for all you do. Amazing City Current partners. You make our world and our life easy. Congratulations on 30 years of success and building, and looking forward to many more years ahead of working with you all. But thank you for all you do, and thank you for coming on the show.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you.